Yo, YouTube, what's going on? I wanted to give a quick description of this video before I just kind of let it loose because it's basically a big, long rant that I went on stream. We were discussing the idea of tunneling and why it's not fun and how you can kind of combat it and how also combating it kind of nerfs killers and how that's a problem. And it kind of just led into this big discussion about DBD balance. And this is basically me going on a big tangent about how I would fix all of the balance issues in DBD. And I'm gonna be honest, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think my takes here were pretty good, you know? I think if everything I said in this video actually gets implemented or would get implemented in like a hypothetical world, I think the game would be in an amazing space. That being said, enjoy the ramblings of a madman, I guess. I'll just get you right to it. This is going to be messy as shit, okay? This is going to be giga messy, but I don't even care, okay? I think there's two major issues with the game right now that I see that I think can both be, like, I think if you do these, okay, there's two big issues, and I think two big drastic changes can solve these two big issues. But they're like, they're really big changes that are going to take an insane amount of, like, dev time. But I still think it's possible to do if they actually cared, okay? So, first thing is, tunneling sucks. Like, this is like a weird thing because like tunneling is like, it makes sense, right? I'm going to repeat stuff I've already said because I'm probably going to upload this, okay? So just bear with me, okay? Like, it sucks because why the fuck wouldn't killers do it, right? Like, the idea of like survivors telling killers, like, don't you dare play in the most optimal way to win. Like, you better play in like the least optimal way to win because our fun matters, and how dare you play in a way that wins? Like, what? Like, people boot up games and they play to win. People want to win games that they play, right? Like, that's just natural. That's how people are. So like the idea of like, don't you dare play in like the way that makes sense is like fucking stupid, right? Like, it's a stupid thing for you to get mad at killers about. But at the same time, I get why survivors hate it, because again, if you're playing with like a friend, like again, like I gave this example earlier, but like, say I with like my 14,000 hours have like a friend who I'm like introducing to DBD or who's like newer to the game. Or say it's like a group of friends that are newer. Like, say like we're in a group and like 2 people are experienced and 2 people are new, right? Or something, or even 1 person that's new. Like, if we go play games, it just logically is going to make sense that the killer tunnels out the new player every single time, and then they just don't get to play, right? Like, every match they get is just like, oh, I get chased over and over again on repeat. I'm not actually that good at the game, so I just die. And then, like, I spectate, like, the 3v1. Like, it's just that on repeat, which is, like, horribly boring. Like, that's so boring. That sucks. So, like, I get both sides. I get why people don't like tunneling. It makes sense. But I also feel like I get why people tunnel, because why the fuck wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, it's like the logical way to win. And if you're playing killer, you're probably just sitting there alone and probably just playing a game to win, because why the fuck wouldn't you? You know what I mean? So, like, it's this weird problem where I think it just sucks. Like, tunneling in general just sucks as a concept. I don't like it. It should go away. There you go. This is my fucking notes are going great. Okay, here's the other issue. This is something I haven't even talked about tonight at all yet. Killers at the top and bottom are way too far apart. Like, and what I mean by this is like nurse compared to trapper, basically, right? Or like you could even I said news. News. Okay, we'll change news to blight. Like, blight compared to trapper, right? I think nurse is weird because she's like entirely different. Like, blight's a good example. Like, both just like if you compare the capabilities of these two killers, you know what I mean? Or even if you change out trapper to like Myers or something. Like, I don't like. If you compare the capabilities, it's like wild, dude. Like, it's wild how much better the killers are at the top end compared to the killers at the bottom end. Like, it is night and day difference. It's crazy. Like, for instance, people will sometimes ask me, like, Tofu, if everybody in the game was like really good, or if everybody was the exact same skill level, is this game killer-sided or survivor-sided? And literally my answer is, who's the killer? You know what I mean? If the killer's blight, it's probably killer-sided. If the killer's trapper, it's probably survivor-sided. You know what I mean? Like, there's just such a fucking disparity in how strong the killers are that, like, I don't know, right? So these are like the two biggest issues, okay, in my opinion. Now, I think in order to make tunneling go away, like, you can't just like expect killers to not do it because it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do that. I'm sorry. Like, people are going to play to win. They're not going to care if you're having fun. Like, it's not their responsibility to care about other people having fun. They're just playing games and doing whatever they can to win, right? What you actually have to do is you have to make some kind of a system, do something to the game baseline that makes it so that tunneling, like, what needs to happen is something so extreme that killers naturally, when they play the game, right? Like, a new killer that's learning the game would have to naturally come to the conclusion on his own that tunneling isn't the best play. You know what I mean? Because right now is the opposite. Like, any person that picks up this game right now is naturally going to come to the conclusion, oh, eliminating one player and turning the game into a 3v1 is a huge benefit. Like, there's a team of 4. If I can turn that into a team of 3, that helps me a lot. Because they're right. That does help you a lot. It's a very logical, easy conclusion to come to, right? But, like, if they added something, like, here's my suggestion, okay? My suggestion. Make it so, like, when unhooked, you become, completely... My spacebar's broken. Completely ethereal for 120 seconds, right? And what I mean by ethereal, like, ethereal basically means no hitbox, right? Like, no hitbox, like, you can't, like, body block, right? Like we're not talking, like off the record here, where you can, like, you know, be unhooked, then run and body block for your teammates or whatever. Like, no hitbox, right? Can't throw pallets / use items, like flashlights, right? So you can't, like, follow the killer around and go for, like, pallet saves or flashlight saves or whatever, right? Like, you're just ethereal. You're basically like a ghost. You're basically a ghost. Like, you can still be visible, right? Like, still visible, but, like, some effects, like, low transparency to know it's there, you know? Like, something to, like, know that they're ethereal, right? I mean, you know what I mean? And that lasts for 120 seconds, right? Lasts 2 minutes... or until conspicuous action is taken, and then coming back to corporeal body takes, like, I don't know, like 3 seconds, right? Because the idea behind coming back taking 3 seconds is, like, in theory, a survivor could go down on a pallet next to a gen or something, and then you could just hang out there ethereal and be like, okay, the second you pick up, I'm going to tap this gen and then pallet save. You know what I mean? Like, if it takes, like, 3 seconds to come out of it, then there's no risk of, like, the survivor abusing it to get, like, flashlight saves or pallet saves or anything like that, right? Like, if it's, like, a transition that happens over 3 seconds, then that means, like, there's no abusing it. And also what this means, like, basically what this means is that the survivor that gets unhooked basically has to, like, they basically have to tag themselves back into the game, if that makes sense, right? Like, as a killer, you can hypothetically just follow around the ghost for 120 seconds. But, like, if you do that, you're going to lose the game, right? Like, generators, like, here, let me just add even more, right? Like, gens take 90 seconds, right? So, like, for instance, if you were to try to tunnel anyway, like, as a killer, if you were like, let me just try to tunnel the person off hook and see what happens, they would literally just not touch anything for the whole 2 minutes, and you would lose, like, at least 3 gens, right? Because gens take 90 seconds each. They would pop 3 gens and then start progress on other gens. And then even at the end of the 120 seconds, the person would probably still find, like, a pallet or something. Like, they would start a chase at the end of it, right? Like, they would run to, like, shack or something, and when it was about to run out, they would throw a shack pallet. So you would have to, like, also start a chase wherever the fuck they wanted to start it, right? They can go to the safest area in the map. So, like, you would not only be taking the worst chase possible, you would also be doing it after giving them 120 seconds of free gen time. Like, there's just no way, right? Like, in this scenario, there's no way that tunneling off the hook would be reasonable. It just wouldn't be. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would not be reasonable. That being said, I don't even know why the gen take 90 seconds here. Tunneling wouldn't be reasonable, I guess. I'm trying to keep all my notes here. That being said, I do think, like, loose tunneling would still be a thing. And what I mean by this is, like, for instance, I gave this example earlier, but say, like, you hook a Nancy, right? She gets unhooked. You completely ignore her. She runs away and is a ghost somewhere. You're like, whatever, right? And then, like, 30 seconds later, say you're, like, chasing a Carlos somewhere, and you kind of see out of the corner of your eye, like, oh, there's Nancy on a gen. That Nancy I had hooked, right? You might be like, oh, she's already down a hook state. Let me, like, bail from this chase and go chase her, right? And then you could chase her, put her on hook again. That way, you're like kind of tunneling, but it's, like, not direct tunneling. You're not, like, directly going after her off hook. It boils down to their positioning at that point, right? Like, at that point, it's up to them. Because even then, if she gets unhooked again, it's, like, up to her. Like, what do you do with your 2 minutes? If you choose to position badly with your 2 minutes, then sure, you might still get tunneled, but, like, at least it's on you. Like, you have the ability to avoid the tunnel, right? Now, the issue with all of this is that it is, I'm sure, like, if I upload this to YouTube, I haven't mentioned anything about this yet. I'm sure there's a lot of killer players, like, punching their monitor right now. Is that it is a huge nerf to killer. Because realistically, that is the case. Like, I'm sorry, like, I don't like saying this kind of thing because, like I said, I don't like tunneling in this game. I know it's, like, kind of necessary, but, like, realistically, I'm sorry. If you're playing, like, a lower tier killer and you're going against, like, even, like, decent survivors, if you're like not tunneling, you're probably cucked. Like, unfortunately, tunneling is there like as a balance feature. Like with lower tier killers anyway, tunneling is like almost required. Now that being said, with high tier killers, I think tunneling is not as required, right? Like for instance, I don't think this, it like wouldn't affect Blight, like Blight, Nurse, Billy, etc. nearly as much as low tier killers. Like, I don't know, Dredge, fucking Myers, you know, Trapper or whatever, right? Like, I think it's, like, that's the thing about this, is I think that this affects killers in a hugely disproportionate way, which I think is why this side over here is so important, right? Killers on the top and the bottom are way too far apart from each other. Now, how you fix this? How do you fix this, right? Because obviously what needs to happen here is that there needs to be a counter buff. Sorry. To killer. But the thing about the counter buff is that, like, counter buff should be something that affects low tier killers more than high tier killers. Like, for instance, a bad example would be like make gens take, I don't know, 60 more seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe that's a high number. Maybe I'll say 30 more seconds, right? Like, so, like, gens now take 2 minutes instead of 1.5 minutes, right? Like, that's a terrible solution because this makes it so that killers like Blight and Nurse and Billy, who are already barely affected by this, just become even more insane, right? Like, you would never be able to win a game against a Blight ever, right? But then, like, killers like Trapper would be a little bit more balanced, but it's like, okay, you balance, like, some of the weaker ones maybe, but now the good ones are, like, unstoppable. You know what I mean? So you can't really do, like, a blanket buff that just affects everybody, right? Like, whatever buff you do has to be something that affects, like, weaker killers more than higher killers. Which is where we come over here, okay? This is where we come back to the same thing that I have mentioned 100 million fucking times, which is map changes. Like, this is what needs to happen. This is, like, probably the only thing I can think of in the entire game that actually, like, affects killers separately based on their strength, right? And let me explain why. Go look at any tier list of any, like, credible player. Go look at OhTofu's tier list. Go look at, fucking, I don't know, any credible player that you think is credible as tier list, and tell me the pattern that you see. I'll just tell you the pattern that you're going to see. How about that? All the killers at the high end of tier lists are always killers that are really good at anti-loop, right? Like, strong killers equal good anti-loop. And then weaker killers equals bad anti-loop. As a general rule. Obviously, like, other things like mobility and stuff matter a little bit, but literally, like, good mobility with bad lethality cannot even be strong, right? Like, some of the most, like, mobile killers in the game, for instance, are like Dredge. Like, Dredge is, like, insanely mobile, but, like, he kind of sucks. You know what I mean? He's pretty ass because his anti-loop isn't very good. Same thing with, like, Wraith. I mean, Wraith is, like, an interesting one because his anti-loop is not horrible, but, like, he's super mobile, but he's still not considered really good because he's just extremely loopable, right? Whereas at the high end, like, a really good example of this on the other end is, like, Nurse. Nurse has, like, no, like, very limited mobility, right? I know that I know technically she has, like, vertical mobility, right? Like, if you're playing on, like, you know, Gideon Meat Plant, she can navigate well. But if you're talking like a straight line, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but if a Nurse blinks in a straight line across the map, she actually doesn't go faster than a normal 4.6 killer walking. Like, a Trapper can walk across the map faster than a Nurse can blink across the map in a straight line. Obviously, she, like, goes through walls, so sometimes you can maybe shortcut around things or whatever, right? So, like, it's technically not, like, terrible mobility, but, like, I would say, like, extremely weak mobility is what I'll say. Like, extremely weak mobility. But, like, she's considered the best killer in the entire game because her anti-loop is so fucking strong that it doesn't matter. You can't loop her. She just kills you, right? Because what it turns out, like, the most important thing as killer is literally just the ability to kill people. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, if you want to stop gens from popping, the way that you do it is by fucking killing people, you know? Downing survivors, forcing the other survivors to get off the gens to come unhook or come pick up the slugs or whatever. That's how you actually stop gens. You don't stop gens by, like, running over and kicking them. You stop them by killing people and forcing them to get off gens to do altruism, right? I'll give an example here of, like, I want someone with high mobility. Someone like Wraith / Dredge. There you go. Sure, whatever. So let me take a breath. The way that you fix this now, right? Like, because this is what's going on. Because high tier killers, good anti-loop, lower killers, bad anti-loop. The way that you fix this is that you make it so that maps have less safe pallets, okay? Like, the way the game works right now, and the way most maps are balanced, is that, like, most maps have like a very low amount of pallets. Like for instance, I think I did this one time where I loaded into Cool Tower and I counted the pallets, and there was like 10 to 12, I think, between like the few times I loaded in pallets on CT. But almost everyone was a god pallet. If you don't know what I mean by god pallet, a god pallet is basically a pallet that's like so strong that like if you know what you're doing, like if you're a good survivor, like a normal M1 killer without anti-loop cannot catch you. Like they are forced to kick it. There's almost nothing you can do that gets you a hit, and you're just basically forced to kick it and move on. And what this does is this creates gameplay, right? Like this kind of map design basically creates gameplay where M1 killers get stuck in long chases where they have no agency and are forced to zone kick pallets to their best abilities, which also like leads to chases lasting super long with nothing the killer can do. Like this is 100% a thing, right? Like if you go watch like high-level 1v1 players, for instance, right? It's like some of the best players in the world on Killer and Survivor. You'll see that literally like it'll take like a minute and a half, 2 minutes before a killer is even able to get a single hit in, right? And the whole way leading up to that, there's like nothing they can do, right? They're just completely helpless. You're just like working your way into trying to get one hit. And like this is just not okay, right? Like this is the big issue with why this is exactly why the weaker killers are so strong. Like if at any point survivors are able to just put you in like a guaranteed situation where you go like a minute plus without being able to create any damage, like I'm sorry, that's just, you're never going to be able to kill anything if that's how it works, right? And that's kind of the issue. Now instead, my notes are all over the place. This is messy. It's fine. This is going to be scuffed. It's fine. If instead the maps were made like Greenville, where like, say instead of like 10 to 20 pallets, say you had like 20 to like 25 pallets, right? Maybe even more. You could even have more than this if you want, in theory. But almost every pallet is unsafe/playable. And now what I mean by unsafe/playable is like, if you've ever loaded into Greenville, you probably know what I mean, right? Like Greenville is like a map where there's a lot of pallets, but most of the pallets on that map are like not super strong, right? Like the idea is that if you're against an M1 killer with no chase power, it shouldn't be this thing where it's like, I made it to the pallet, I threw the pallet, I win for the next like 10 seconds. I don't have to worry about anything, right? As long as I like just time my vaults correctly, which is pretty easy. You have to kick this pallet and then I go to the next one and we rinse repeat, right? Like again, that's like kind of the cycle that's bad. It's like, I got the pallet, I win, you can't do anything, kick it, I go to the next one, I drop the pallet, I win, you have to kick it and move on, right? Instead of that, if the pallets are unsafe/playable, what happens is when the survivor makes it to the pallet, they can't just drop it and be like, I win. It's like once they drop it, they still have to continue to outplay you, right? Like they drop it and then they have to win a 50-50, or you can like try to mind game it and you can actually get mind games off. And that creates interesting dynamic gameplay where like both sides have agency, right? Even if you don't have strong anti-loop, it creates this agency where like a killer like Myers or a killer like Trapper has agency in their chase. Like they can actually create damage even against good survivors because you can force them into risky situations where they're not guaranteed to be safe. So like, for instance, if I can show you chases, and maybe, I don't know if people care enough, maybe I can give even more examples in like another video or something, but like, if I showed you examples of like a 1v1 chase that I did against a good player on a map like, you know, Suffocation Pit, and then a map like Greenville, there's so many more opportunities, right? Like on the first map, it's like you literally just sit there and kick pallets for a whole minute straight until you finally get into a situation where maybe damage could happen. Whereas on a map like Greenville, it's like you're constantly able to find yourself in scenarios, right? Like, I mean, okay, to be honest with you, Greenville actually does have a good bit of god pallets too. Like, I think even Greenville's a little bit too strong on pallets, to be honest with you. Like, I think there should be more weak ones there too. But point is that there was a lot of playable pallets, then it would be fine, right? Like, I think like there should probably be like, I would say there should be like maybe like 3 maybe like safe pallets per map, right? Like I think Shack pallet can be safe, maybe like a couple maze tiles that are safe, but I think maps having like 8, 9, 10 god pallets every map is just fucking crazy, dude. It's like absurd. This would make it so that like, okay, so what happens here is you could even in theory jack this number up to like 30, right? Because what happens here, I'll just say like even higher? Question mark? Whoa, why is it taking everything? Whoa. What the hell? Why is it doing that? I don't know why I did that, but it's okay. It's fine. I'll leave it like that. Like the idea behind this is that like even if you put like 30 pallets in a map, but they're all kind of bad, what that also does is it actually nerfs kind of the high-end killers as well. Because if you guys don't know this, if you don't know much about, see, like, this is tough because I'm not sure if everybody knows a lot about like high level play. But for instance, like against like Blight, for instance, Blight kind of ends like a lot of the time Blight ends up in this scenario where like a lot of Blight players won't even try to outplay pallets. They'll basically like, if you try to greet it, they'll hit you, right? So you have to like pre-throw it. And then once you pre-throw it, they just zone kick it and then catch you before you make it to the next one, right? Like the idea is that there's a lot of high-end killers that punish you just for not having resources. Like think about all the zoning killers too, right? Killers like Artist, who like set up a crow at a pallet, set up a crow at another pallet. Like if you have like a very large number of pallets, all these like anti-loop abilities become kind of weaker because you have more and more resources to use. And that's every killer. Every killer in the game that has anti-loop becomes a little bit weaker when there's more resources, because if they zone you away from one resource, you get to another resource, right? That's kind of the idea. Like there's constant resources. Like the idea behind this too is that there would be no dead zones, hopefully, right? Like no dead zones. Every dead zone can be replaced with a very weak pallet / window, and it's just going to be better, right? Like you can replace every single dead zone with like a super weak pallet. That way there's at least an option. Even if it's a bad option, even if the option is like 90% in the favor of killer, at least the survivor has something they could work with, right? Like something. Something is always better than nothing, right? Always. So like do that, right? Like put resources everywhere, but just make them not very good. That way the chases are constantly dynamic. Like killer's anti-loop will become way less like brain dead, right? Instead of like, again, I know a lot of people complain about like Artists just being like put down crow and now suddenly that pallet's not usable. Put down crow, now that pallet's not usable and now I die, right? Like instead of it being this like brain dead thing, there'd be so many resources that you'd have to like really think about which ones you're shutting down and which ones you're, you know, forcing the survivor to. And then even once you force them there, they still have a chance to play it, right? Like it makes every single character's chase more dynamic, right? Everyone's chase becomes more dynamic. There's way less like 100-0 situations where like one side just wins and one side just loses. Like no matter what the killer is, whether they're weak, strong, whatever, every single chase becomes way more dynamic. It's just so, it's like a perfect change. The only, like, I think there might be some exceptions. Like I think for instance, Clown might actually become OP in this scenario, to be honest with you. Like I think Clown would actually need a nerf. Like there's a couple killers like that where like if you could, like even like maybe Freddy too, like maybe Freddy as well. Like I think killers that are able to consistently make you slow might actually become OP in this scenario. So that might be something to kind of watch out for, right? They might need nerfs, right? Possibly. Because I think like people that make you slow with very little downside on their own side just kind of would shit on you here, I think. So that might be the only issue that I see. But beyond that, like every other killer, every high tier killer, and also the other argument I hear about this sometimes that people argue against it is like, they're like, what about the new players? Oh my God, what about the new players? Well, guess fucking what, chat? Guess what, YouTube, when I upload this? Guess what? New players don't fucking know how to play unsafe pallets anyway, bro. That's like literally what being a new player is. Like having more pallets is okay, I would argue that being a new player, like when people are new to this game, and you know, I could be wrong on this, I would argue that being new to this game, killer is usually way more dominant than survivor. Like when there's like a killer that doesn't really know what he's doing and then a bunch of survivors that don't know what they're doing, usually the killer's gonna win, right? Obviously when you're new to killer, I think the issue is that you sometimes go against people that do know what they're doing, and that's when it feels bad. But I think when everybody, like if you got like 5 brand new players and hopped in customs and just played a bunch of matches, I'm pretty sure the killer would be winning more often than not, because like that's just usually how it goes. But this actually helps that, right? Because like when everybody's new, you just want a lot of resources, right? Like for instance, having 25 pallets is a good thing, even though they're like really weak, because new killer players aren't going to know how to handle that. Like new players, like if anything, you've seen new killer players fuck up and they'll just like kick unsafe pallets all the time. Like it happens always, right? That's like a part of being good at this game, is being able to identify what pallets you kick right away and what pallets you don't. So having just like 25 pallets or whatever, or some high, like crazy high number of pallets as a new survivor player, is just going to be even better, right? It like literally helps you, and it rewards skill on both sides. Like once you start to realize how you actually play the pallets on both sides, and like, you know, then you get better, and it just makes everything dynamic, and it makes it so that like your knowledge and like skill in the game shows. But I think new players would literally do better. They would have more resources to work with, and killers aren't going to play them correctly anyway, so who fucking cares? And anyway, that's, I think, the end of my rant. I don't know. I've been ranting for so long now that I think this is the end of the rant. I think if they did this in the same way that they did the thing on the left, right? If both of these changes happened, there might need to be a slight additional changes too, right? I still think like, I think removing tunneling altogether might still be a bigger deal than this, maybe, like possibly. But even so, like this right here, this change on the right, definitely, I promise you, brings the killers closer. Like I promise you, if they did this, Like killers like Trapper, Myers, like normal M1 killers would jump up tier lists, bro. They would fly up tier lists. Like they would instantly become so much stronger because you could actually get downs, right? And then killers with high mobility would be way better too. Like Dredge would become a very strong killer. Like Wraith would become a very strong killer. Like I think mobility would probably end up mattering a lot, right? But also the weaker killers would have more resources, so they get brought down. It would be a way to kind of like scrunch tier lists, right? Killers at the high end get weaker, killers at the low end get stronger. It just helps all of that, right? On top of that, then you could destroy tunneling, right? Just completely ditch tunneling, and then with all the killers being close in level, you can balance around that, right? Like if you do both of these things and then like killers like feels too hard, then just make gens take a little bit longer or whatever, right? Then you can balance around it. But as long as the killers are all relatively close to each other, that allows you to make baseline killer changes, right? Like this bad example down here I said. Like this bad example becomes a kind of decent example as long as you do this first, right? Because once the game is actually like, once all the killers feel similar in strength, then you can start just doing baseline changes and then bam, the game's perfect. So that's my, there you go. That's the end of my crazy fucking MS Paint rant. This is how you fix the game. This makes DBD an amazing, dynamic game where neither side feels helpless pretty much ever. I think in this scenario, neither side would feel helpless unless they're just crying about being bad, right? Like I know like what would happen if they did this, like just to throw it out there, what would happen if they did this is I know a lot of Survivor players who have been spoiled by how strong maps have been would cry and cry and cry. Like for instance, I know a lot of people cry about Greenville because they're like, but the pallets are useless. And it's like, no, you just have never had to play any pallet that isn't super safe. Like unsafe pallets or playable pallets are not useless. They're just played differently, and people would have to like adapt to the different play. So undeniably, if this happened, people would be a little salty at first, and especially Survivor players would be like, "These pallets are terrible," blah blah blah. But like they'd get used to it. They would eventually adapt and get used to it because they're not terrible. They're playable. It's just that people aren't used to it yet. This is how you do it. This is how you fix the game. I don't know. That's the end of my rant. That's how you fix the game. If Behavior did this, I'm very confident this game would be a million times better. Like what would happen is that games would be way less about like tunneling and chasing the person off hook, and it would be way more about like hooking somebody and then just finding a chase and like committing to that chase and getting damage, right? Like it'd be way more focused on like the killer actually just like committing to shit, getting damage, and then like maybe like passively tunneling somewhat, right? Like maybe loose tunneling. But it would be way like all the gameplay would be way more dynamic. It wouldn't be like, oh, let me find the weak link Meg and just kill her like right away, tee. Like that shit would be gone. It would be gone. It would be all about actual interaction and like aggressive play. Killers would be out there chasing other people after hooks and shit. It'd change everything in such a good way. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah, I know the map changes wouldn't change nerfs, but nerfs is a whole separate problem that like I don't even know how the fuck to address, to be honest with you. Like I guess the only way you change nerfs is by making maps bigger, but that like nerfs is a whole separate issue, bro. I don't know. There's really no way to even include her because nerfs is playing a whole different fucking video game. So there's really no way to even include that. That's it. That's all I got to say though. That's it. That's it. That's all. Guys, editing Tofu here. Don't mind me talking while old me is still moving my mouth. That's probably confusing. I don't know. Whatever. I should probably edit this in a way, but I'm not going to. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you guys agreed with my opinions or you disagreed or you had any thoughts on them, share them in the comments. I'm curious what you guys have to say about it. You know, feel free to share whatever you think. Thank you guys for watching this. Like the video, subscribe, all that jazz. Come hang out with me on Twitch. We play the game and talk about it quite often over there. So feel free to do that as well. Thank you guys for being here, though. Until next time, I'm out of here. I'll see ya. I'll take care. I'll see ya. See you later. See ya.